Rooted in resilience, inspired by nature, powered by movement. The podcasts where healing meets empowerment. Let's rise and thrive together. And now, here are your hosts, Scott and Melissa.
All right. So welcome to Rise and Thrive podcast with Melissa and Scott. And we have some beautiful guests here today. But before we dive into that, we'd like to pause and clear some space so that you can be present wherever you're at. And Scott's going to do that. So,
looking forward to it. I need it today.
Yes,
it's been a run and gun kind of day. So let's find ourselves in a nice, comfortable position, fully supported wherever you may be. Maybe you're sitting and let that chair just hold you. You don't have any effort in your body to hold yourself up. If you're in a moving vehicle, just listen and enjoy. And let's take a nice cleansing inhale. And then release that exhale fully. Empty, 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 empty. One more cleansing breath in. Empty all the way. Exhaling fully, releasing all the pressures and stress in life. And one final inhale. Extra long exhale. And allow your body to find its natural rhythm of breathing. Just noticing how the body automatically, on autopilot, keeps that wonderful breath moving through your body. And as you're noticing that breath coming in and out, on those inhales, those natural inhales, just bring in the energy that you're seeking today. Inhaling that maybe peaceful energy. And on the exhale, letting go of the energy that doesn't serve you any longer. Maybe it's pressure, letting go of the pressure. Inhaling the peace, and letting go of the pressure. Enjoy this respite from the routine for a few more moments. I'll watch the clock. And one more inhale of peace. And one long exhale, releasing anything that no longer serves you in this moment. And when you're ready, slowly, with ease, open your eyes, wiggle your fingers and toes, and just notice what's changed in the room around you for just a brief moment. Maybe colors are different. Maybe you'll feel lighter. And use this practice a couple times throughout your day when you need to. Check in. Keep yourself well balanced. Self-regulate. And that's what Vital Edge Wellness Coaching is all about. In a 1 minute snippet.
kind of 1 minute. We're a little...
Yeah, well.
We add cushion to the 1 minute.
It's our version of a minute.
Yes. Well, everything slows down when you just take a moment to pause. So, right? And the peace is in the pause.
That's right. Speaking of pieces in the pause, let's introduce our guests.
Yes. So we have two beautiful ladies here that I had the pleasure of meeting while Dani. We talked in the last podcast that we have a mutual colleague that took years to get us connected, but was so happy we finally did. And now it's been a handful of years, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite a few. And then I was introduced to Leah. We had beautiful meetings all together for a while there. That was really inspiring. And they're with Phoenix Rising, beautiful practice here in Salem. And so I'm going to hand it off to them to share a little bit more about themselves. And then we're going to dig into a little burnout today, I think.
I got a
I want to dig out of burnout. I don't want to dig.
We'll unpack it, Scott.
Okay, good.
Okay, I want to.
Unpack it.
Like,
I'm Dani Dupuis, nurse practitioner and co-founder of Phoenix Rising Family Medicine. I'm not going to do a whole big spiel because I got to visit with you guys quite a bit on the last podcast. And so I thought having a little bit of time for Leah to do an intro, and then I can fill in some gaps in the conversation where it seems like it'll help make the conversation make sense, I think.
Yeah.
Would be the way to go.
Welcome back, by the way.
yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me back. You guys didn't out say, oh my gosh, we don't want her again. Man. So yeah, Leah.
Hello.
Who are you, Leah?
Called Leah Burkhart. How do I put it in kind of wrap it in a concise bow? So currently I have a clinical health educator and I'm a health and wellness coach, and I'm certified by two different bodies. So one is the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaches. No idea why they have so many initials. And then the other is ICF. So I'm kind of a hybrid between life coach, health coach, but with the lens in terms of my academic background of clinical health education, of wanting the whole person to be able to come alive. So that's my elevator pitch.
I like it.
That's a nice elevator pitch.
And then we met like 4 years ago at the Chamber of Commerce luncheon. I was doing a presentation on burnout. And then this woman comes up to me after this presentation, and she just had this huge glowing smile looking at me like she's known me for multiple lifetimes. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't remember her name. What's her name? I'm good at faces. I don't remember names, but obviously we know each other. We didn't know each other. And she, I'm Leah, blah, blah, so excited. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like we know each other. And we hit it off. And now she's wrapped into the bosom of the practice. She's a part owner of the practice now as of this year. So we have nurse practitioners, family practice, psychiatric mental health, and now health educator for Burnout Clinic. So that's the background of, in a nutshell,
Our kismet, our meet cute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Our meet cute. It was so at the time that I met Dani, it was at the Chamber of Commerce. And so I identify as someone I love humans, but I'm a bit of an introvert. And then I'm also a sensitive little being. So my practice initially was called the Healthy Sensitive. And people ask, well, what do you do? I said, I would tell them, I'm a burnout coach, and I help highly sensitive people create lives or weave lives together that allow them to kind of lean into purpose, but without feeling like they have to sacrifice their health, blah, blah, blah. So my first Chamber of Commerce, for business women's meeting, is Dani Dupuis. She's
That was your first one?
That was my first one. And you were talking about, I had got myself to this meeting, by the way, by promising me. So big capital S me had to tell little s me, okay, listen, I know this is a whole bunch of humans you've never seen before in your life. And this is going to be a little uncomfortable, but you're going to go in there and you're going to sit your butt down and you're going to eat some food and you're going to watch a lovely presentation and then you get to go home. You just have to show up. And then I see this dazzling creature who's talking about burnout. I'm like, I think I have an intellectual crush on this lady.
Oh my gosh,
it's fine. I'm going to leave though. I can't. I promised myself I wouldn't have to. I get all the way out back to the parking lot. And it's like, Leah Marie Burkhart, she is a human. Go back in there and just say hello. It's like, no, I don't want to. Leah. I know. Yeah, they're a pep talk ensued. I had to work up the courage to talk to my
asking me out on a date.
100%. I was like, oh, that's so funny. I think I like you. Do you like me too? So that's why I call it a meet cute.
Well, now we're married.
Yep. We're definitely
business marriage.
Business
we have a baby together.
Yes.
A business baby.
Yes. And the business baby is called Unbound.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's really great. That's a great story. And I love seeing Dani's reaction to hearing I didn't
even know it was her first one. I'm like, whoa.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
pretty awesome.
Did you thank your big L, Leah?
Yes. Big time.
I was to make sure you honored. Yeah.
You did a thing. Now I can do that no problem. Going around meeting humans isn't as it's oh God. But at the time, I had just moved to Oregon from California. So it was newbie on top of newbie on top of newbie. And it's just look, I've got too much of a lady crush on this gal. I have to go meet.
Yeah.
So yes.
I think it's interesting, and this is a whole other podcast. We said at every podcast, so many rich topics come out of these conversations that it'd be interesting in a subsequent podcast to talk about how you actually listened to yourself and
the guidance that was coming in.
And how what would have not happened had you not? We won't know, but we do know what happened because you did.
Totally.
I love that. See, I got goosebumps. I want to dive into that. That is so rich. So
Well, it actually it links beautifully into the topic of, navigating burnout, because 99.999, no, it's probably 100% of the time when people ask me, what can I do to not have to go through this again? Like, that was awful.
Yeah.
What do I need to do to prevent that from happening a second time? My answer is always, well, when is the last time you remember feeling like you were connected to a capital S self, or to that sense of unconditional love? Like that voice, that thing inside of you that's bigger than you and yet completely you. And yet, whatever that, for some people, it might be God. For some, it's unconditional love. For some, whatever you call that, that's the thing that's going to have the answers. Like, that's the thing that's going to tell you. And it will never ask you to do something you can't do, ever. It almost, you'll know it because it won't be a lawyer. Like, fear sounds like a lawyer.
Yeah.
Your intuition, your capital S self, doesn't sound like much of anything. And it doesn't actually care that much if you even listen to it. It's going to be there regardless. It's like, I highly recommend you do this thing, but it's fine if you don't do that thing. So it's both something to celebrate. People go, oh, really? It's that easy? And it's like, well, yes. And also, we've been conditioned and trained from birth to render that voice null and void, and instead gravitate toward every other external source of information.
You got it.
So yeah, Scott,
On that.
it's like all a part of it. It's actually like we have an Inner Knowing series coming up after the new year, and it's a series of 3 retreats. And the very first one is Inner Knowing the Self, because we run into so many people who are like, I have no idea what to do, what my intuition is saying. There's such a huge disconnection. And it's so, and I think we talked about this in the last podcast. I consider myself incredibly fortunate to have plugged in with mentors and counseling and psychologists and things like that at a very young age, 20 or 19 or whatever. And I think that was really helpful because I didn't have that voice when I was younger. I think culture and trauma, it like beats it out of us. It silences it a lot. And so as adults, I think when we get into this place where we're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Like, why am I, miserable? Everything's falling apart, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to do. And it's like that, like ruminating and anxiety and ruminating. And the biggest thing I think I see is when people are like, I can't. It's like, what do you mean you can't? Well, I can't quit my job. I can't leave my partner. I can't, all these things. And it's like, there's actually choice in that. Like, you're choosing to not. I understand you think you can't because all of the fear component is coming up. And when we're burned out, all of the creative space in our brain, we don't have enough energy to contribute to that part of our brain, right? And so we're in survival mode. And so it feels that way. But I think that's one of the biggest things I'm most passionate about, is I think try to help people understand that we do always have agency, even in the smallest ways. And like, that comes with tapping into, I call it my capital S self. And then for me, there's like a God component that comes out of that as well. So. Yeah.
Right. It's like giving that space to where, I always think psychology, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, when your foundation of support's there, it opens up to that creativity for people to realize they do have a choice. And, and it takes coming around. And that's what I love about the support and the community of us all talking about this is many of us, as I'm sure you as well, many people don't even know that this is a process. And it's the realization that there is that inner voice. There is a trust that can be there. There is a reliable self to turn. And it takes that quiet space that often is scary, right? It's scary to get into that quiet space because we like to keep it loud. And we've been, as we were talking prior to the show, just, not putting down society, but the culture enhances all the things that tell us otherwise. Yep. And so until we get a little door that opens up with yourselves or things everything that we're doing and supporting to come out into the open, that's what we're hoping in this podcast today, that you're like, oh, it kind of sounds like me. That sounds like something. I'm not alone. I talk to myself, but I didn't realize I talked. So those little seeds that we've seen coming from talking like this with each other and putting it out in the universe to let other ears hear, that's where we see the healing happen, because it isn't sometimes, like Leah said, could be that easy. It is that easy, but it's not that easy. It's like, because we want to make it hard because we think we need to do X, Y, and Z and fix ourselves. And really, we just got to get quiet and lean into the support that comes to us when we cross paths like this with each other.
Yeah, it's simple, not easy.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but not complicated. So it's like there's like, I don't know what, some kind of quadrant or going on there, but it's simple, but it's hard. It's not complicated.
Mhm.
So it's that simple. Yes.
Right. But the human condition we want it to make it complicated because we think it needs to be some type of hurdle, just like the burnout. We were talking like, if I just push a little harder, I'll get through this. And all the while we're patterning ourselves, right? We're conditioning ourselves, and just, we want to prevent that from happening again, but we've actually laid the foundation to have it happen again.
Well, and you need to have an experience of something different.
Right. Exactly.
Primary challenge I think people face is it's like, well, I know I don't want that to happen again, but I don't have any template or any blueprint for what an experience would be like without it.
Right.
So how do you, like, it can feel terrifying. I even had a conversation with someone. She says, how do you let go of the very behaviors that helped me survive? Like, you're asking me to I hear you say the things I'm doing are causing me suffering, but they're also the things that got me to survive during my darkest hours when I was the most vulnerable. So to let that go feels terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think it becomes who you are.
Yeah.
And you're asking me now to disassociate with how I identify myself.
It's a little bit like a mask so there's lots of masks we wear, and some of them are like 15 degrees outside, so they're easy to remove. It's like, oh yeah, that one, like, yeah, I can put that one down. That one I can put down. But you get closer and closer to the skin, and there are masks we might have on that we've been wearing so long that it's fused to the skin.
Yeah.
So to peel it off is painful, and we can't even quite tell where to, like, it's like you're trying to peel it off like a child-proofed package or something. You're like, son of a bitch, like, how do I get this to,
Like a facial gone wrong.
yes, exactly. Like, it's a mask, you're pretty sure you're wearing, but it's so fused to your skin, you don't even know where to start peeling it off.
Well, and what you're simply putting right forth is this is neural wiring, right? The brain only knows how to apply from the past it's trying to apply it to the future. And what we're offering for people is to come be supported in a way to start to peel that and feel safe and know that it is worth it. It's worth it to begin the effort it takes. Not that there's anything wrong with them, right? Not that they're lacking.
No
Not that
broken
they're
people.
right. You're enough. You're full and complete. This is part of the journey that they're on. And if we get to cross paths, our own personal paths, we were talking before the podcast, all four of us have our little moments of like, yes, burnout has been evident for all of us here on the show today. And being able to come alongside others and realize that it is worth it. There's that capacity of rewiring that we all have to thrive. That's why we called it Rise and Thrive. It's just that nourishment that you can have joy even amongst the chaos of the world. And it is possible to repattern. And
I want to talk about that culture piece. I'm a big fan of the be, do, have model. And in case our listeners don't know what that is we're conditioned. Be, do, have is the correct order of how you can live your most balanced life. But in our society, we're conditioned to do the things we need to do to have the life we want to have. So someday we can be the way we want to be. And even every time I say it, I'm like, that is so wrong. It's just is so wrong. So helping us understand how we want to be now so we can do the things we want to do to have the life we want to have makes a lot more sense. So how do you help people get in the state of being that they want, that they crave, but they don't know how to do based on society? Social media keeps coming up for me in our conversation today, that the pressure to perform, to always be seeking advancement. I'll give you one small example. I was leading a leadership cohort a while back, and the person was in a customer service representative role. And I was talking about advancement, and this person bravely, courageously said, what if I just want to be this? And I said, amazing that you know that, because you don't always have to be advancing if you're fine with where you are, you're truly happy where you are. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you manage the society norms and the implementation of social media and the pressure that brings?
I have a couple thoughts real quick. You won't forget yours.
Nope.
Because you took a breath, but I'm jumping in real quick. So you guys were talking about like it's simple, but it's hard, right? Like the intuition, the inner voice, like finding capital S self or connecting with that. As you guys were talking and saying all of those things, I was like, it's hard because culturally we've created structures that create so much noise and chaos that's so fucking loud that that intuition and that voice, it gets overrode. Like if you're in the middle of a concert, you're not going to notice the person that's quietly tapping you on the shoulder to tell you something because you're being jostled and mob pitted by people everywhere,
You
right?
go to different concerts than I go to, apparently.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that was my childhood, but it wasn't a concert. It was life.
Yeah.
And so, that's not normal for humans, right? Like we're
Natural.
our
Yeah.
300 million year blueprint is created for something completely fucking different from that. And this is very new. And we're not a quickly evolving species, right? Like 100 years of like this constant perpetual pace that's going faster and faster and faster, the trains, automobiles, planes, now social media, and something that is literally coming at us faster than I can snap. That's not normal for us. And it's not in alignment with our biology. And so one of the things that we do to try to help combat that constant bombardment and create space so that people can is creating these experiences in the form of retreats, like even like mini, 3-hour retreats. You don't even need to go and travel that'd be great. Yay, go to Costa Rica. But honestly, I was telling Leah, if I'm going to Costa Rica, I love all you humans, but I ain't going to host a retreat for you. I'm going for me. But love you all very much. So anyways, we really like doing like local experiences so that people can get a sense that like, you don't have to go to Costa Rica to have this reset, to learn this tool, to learn this skill. You can do this in your own backyard, home, neighborhood, across town, or what have you, where you have these different experiences where you can have joy, you can have a breathwork practice, sound bowl healing, eating dessert around a fire, doing a labyrinth walk, tuning together? Put together these really cool, fun experiences where people are like, oh my God, that felt great. And it's like, yeah. And like, it's an opportunity to like make the chaos and the noise that's out there suffocating us so that we actually can be like, oh shit, this is it. Wow, this is what I'm feeling right now, and to be able to be there and be witness to that for people is the greatest honor I could ever experience, to be a part of that. And like, yeah, I'm just thinking like we did this breath work practice and I had this weird moment, you guys, like it was so cool. I was like trying to help because I was watching how people breathe. And I do a lot of this when I was doing primary care. I did so much coaching on breath before doing a pap smear for women because we clench, because who wants their knees spread wide and someone going vagina diving in there? Like, it's not fun, And so it's like, okay, we need to do some breath work first. And then I'm like, wow, like nobody's breathing with their belly, like, oh my God, everything is clenched. So your pelvic floor is clenched. So the speculum is going to hurt, but we can prevent that. We can so anyways. And so we did this we're in a tent after a labyrinth walk and we had a cacao ceremony and it was like dark out and it was black and the crickets were going crazy. And I got like full body goosebumps and was like, oh my God, I feel like my ancestors are coming around and like, yes, where have you been? Like, this is the shit right here. And then we do this breathwork practice and I have my hand I got full body goosebumps just now describing it, where I was like trying to prompt these women like, hey, like belly, like you're going shoulders again. Like, like, where's the expansion in the belly? We don't have ribs on our belly for a fucking reason. We're not supposed to have a 6-pack fucking bikini ready thing. Like, we're supposed to be moving it. It's supposed to be bulging. And changing. And so I was like, they were laying down and I was kind of like squatting because that was easier than like bending at the hip. And I had my hand on a belly and this woman's whole body started shaking. And I was like, just like went there. And then I like squeezed her shoulders and she just started getting like, not the chills, but there's just like this major discharge of energy. And she got kind of tearful. And I just sort of stayed there with her. And I had the craziest fucking experience, you guys. I seriously felt like I had like a host of women who I'm guessing are my ancestors surrounding me. And I had this mental image of being in a hut on a dirt floor, not wearing normal clothes and like helping someone work through something. It was like a shamanic, like medicine woman healing something. And it wasn't me alone. It was community and it was women in community.
Wow.
And, you know, the gal was local. Like we did a bunch of different activities over 3 hours. And at the end of it, she's like, I feel totally loved right now. And she was a perfect stranger. I met her that moment that she showed up to the thing. Right. And so anyways, Scott, that's my little thing on like, how do you do this thing where you combat culture and society and the loudness and the pace? Like we want to bring experiences to women is who we work with mostly. Not that we're opposed to men, but seems like women are drawn to us a little bit more where they can have an experience to know like, oh, this is the thing. This is the thing I'm looking for. Now I know what I'm looking for. And I know that when I go back in my daily life, oh shit, that's dysregulation. That's my nervous system in fight or flight. I better use a tool.
Yeah.
You took a breath earlier, but I just wanted to throw that out there because it was really special.
I love that experience. And I relate really deeply to the ancestral shamanic experience. I've had some similar experiences. And I think that to a lot of people, they're like, what? Because they're so conditioned. They can't see anything different. And we've had similar experience with our retreat goers as you, where it's like, it's the greatest thing as a retreat facilitator to see and witness these changes. Even the smaller ones are profound. So we're asking our audience to lean in and experiment with some of these tools to find the natural rhythms of who we are meant to be. Love that story.
Yeah. Thanks.
I just want to add a little tidbit because I love how you described her body shaking and doing it. And a lot of people think, okay, now is she cured? Now she's going to be like better and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or what does it take to get me better? Right? What is it? And what I love is her body released some trauma, some stress. Stored, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens just as we continue to expose ourselves to these experiences and let this be part of our care and our human experience is she starts to feel lighter. She starts to open to creativity. She starts to like all of a sudden desire, even if you guys did something or like we did something on our retreat that was challenging, and then they get back and they reflect or they find that, oh, my muscles are stronger and I'm entertaining the thought that I want to get back on my bicycle again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love it.
Like that thought would have never been there if they didn't, right? So it's like,
True testimonial, by the way.
it's hard to share with people when they want to know what's my result, right? Because we've been conditioned. Again, they're like, well, how long is this going to take me? I had a discussion with an individual this morning, like, well, how many times do I have to have these? Because literally I had an individual have a breakthrough this morning in a second, another one. And she's like, well, in her mind, she's thinking, how many of these do I need?
Yeah.
To get like through this? And it's like, it's just embracing that this is the human.
This is the process.
The process. This
It's
is
a journey, man.
trust.
Like there's no end point, right? I mean, we die, but then even that's not the end, in my opinion.
Exactly. That's not the end point either.
Yeah.
All right, Leah.
Okay, Leah, sorry.
Are you done with your breath?
Okay.
Almost.
Okay.
Almost.
Almost. All the way out.
So for those because there are some okay, let's say that you're listening and you're just like, oh, that's really cute. Like you think I have the time ever.
Oh, here we go.
Anyway, like, I have an hour, maybe a week. So we do also have like weekly, like it's virtual meetups. And in those zones, so those virtual spaces, the goal is also to have experiences. So I'll give an example. It can be coaching in style, but it turns out things. We've learned a lot this last couple of years. The thing about burnout. Most people don't want to say that they have burnout because to say it is a kind of admission of defeat or failure. Like, I couldn't hack it. So I don't want to use that word, but there's also no other word. Like, the only way to work around that word is to build a canyon of like around a bush and just keep going around and around and around. So it's like if we have to, there's so many words we have to use. It's like, well, if you had this experience or this experience, are you tired but wired? Are you constantly thinking about all the things that you should be doing and then upset at yourself for having any shoulds? And are you did it? And they'll say, yeah, that's totally me. What is that? It's like, it's burnout.
I know. That's not it. Got to be something else.
So it must be my hormones.
It must be my thyroid.
It's got to be I don't have burnout. No. And so coaching on burnout has a very special kind of challenge, mostly in so much as people don't want to admit they have it. They'll say things like, I would rather have cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a badge of honor, right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the fatigue perhaps, but not the burnout. We're not like that's easy. Anyway. So instead it's like I did a trial of Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way.
Oh, yeah.
The 12-week series. For anyone, I'm sure both of you are familiar, but in case there's those listening who aren't, it's you can get the book. You don't need me. Julia Cameron wrote a book. She guides you through 12 weeks of a practice where, for example, every morning you just write 3 pages. And she is insistent. Do not make it pretty. Don't make your handwriting pretty. Don't make your thoughts pretty. This is like writing diarrhea. Like you're just,
I love it.
spewing it all over the place. You're just trying to get into this practice. And then each week there's new themes. So like in week 1, you're talking about, the challenge of re-meeting your inner artist, and then 2, and then it's about abundance. And so each week has a new theme. So I decided to take people through this. And after, I don't even know how long, trying to coach, I'm putting in quotations, people on burnout and having them, kind of like tiptoe around it. Like, well, maybe all of a sudden, all of the conversations I would dearly love for people to have are being had, because instead of tackling burnout, we're sneaking up to it and we're talking about creativity.
Yeah.
And if you know anything from Martha Beck's work or, anyone who talks about the anxiety, it's like you can't be anxious and creative at the same time. So all of your creativity goes out the window when you're anxious, but it turns out all your anxiety goes out the window when you're being creative.
Yeah.
And so here these people are, and they're tapping into all of these really profound insights just by virtue of having a regular daily practice on journaling stuff. And then I'm here, like I heard one person say, when I was a little girl, I used to be really good at the violin or at the flute. There was a flute. Mm-hmm. So good that there was even talk of me getting a scholarship. But I ended up not going that route because I couldn't imagine making a living from it. And I would have needed to be the top 1% of the top one. And I just thought, I don't think I want to go there. So I just stopped doing it altogether. And she said, I recently picked it up the other day and I'm still really good. And I don't need to be in front of an audience to know that. I can just enjoy the act of playing the flute. And so even something small like that, when people ask, well, how will I know that how do I defy the odds? The culture, society, like how do I do that? Most of the time, I'll start by simply asking, when is the last time you had an experience where you felt like maybe time was standing still? You felt like you had ease. You felt like, okay, I don't know exactly what this is, but this feels really good. Like I feel well. You might not feel good, but you feel really well. When have you ever had that experience? And most of the time, like 90+% of the time, they do have an answer. Mm-hmm. They'll say, I remember this one time, ... And I don't think it's ever been anything extravagant. It's usually a memory of simplicity. Like when I was a little girl and I was in the forest, or when I was, one lady said, I can tell you exactly when that experience happened most recently. It was after my last round of chemo. Mm. I had, for the first time in my life, unadulterated, no limits on and permission for rest. I got to just be a human. And I didn't love having cancer and I wasn't a huge fan of chemo, but I really, really liked that everyone around me kept saying, yeah, absolutely, take care of you. Do what you need to do.
Can I bring you dinner? How are you doing?
Can I take care of you? Yeah. Do you need rest? No, please do what you need to. So I went out for a drive because I didn't have the energy to do anything else, but everything just looked so alive and beautiful. And I realized part of it was the gratitude for being alive coming out of a really dark chapter of my life. But a bigger part was it was the first time in my life I got to be for a significant period of time. and having no other obligations than just to survive. Like surviving was enough.
And I think some of what you're saying, and you and I have talked about this a lot, but one of the things when that's a perfect story to say what I'm saying. In practice, when I'm trying to get women to understand, like, hey, like even if you have Hashimoto's, it's not about the Hashimoto's. It's the burnout underneath that's causing the cellular dysfunction that's creating Hashimoto's, right? But everyone wants to stop at the symptoms and the diagnosis. And when I'm trying to say, if you really want to work on blank, you need to blank, right? Take a break, take a rest. We need to figure this out, blah, blah, blah. And they look at me, and I've literally had people say, and Leah said this earlier, and it's because it's true, I'd rather have cancer, Dani. I'd rather have cancer. And like when I come in here and you show me my labs and you're like, they're not that bad. I have so many people break into tears, bawling. And it took me so long. And I'm like, because the thing that another piece of the cultural component is permission. Like her patient had permission to rest from her entire community. She had people wanting to serve her, wanting to support her. Nope, don't do it. I'm doing it. Nope, you go take care. When in my fucking life do I have an entire community of people saying, do what you need to do? How can I help? Actually, I'm not even going to ask you how I can help. I'm using this one right here. She caught me on a day, okay? And she's like, can I go pick up your kids for you? And I'm like, and I was like, the greatest gift you gave me, Leah, is you didn't ask me, how can I help you, Dani? Because I was so fucking overwhelmed. I couldn't even delegate.
Yeah,
And
one
she
more
just,
decision.
yeah, she's like, what's going on? What's going on in your day, Dani? You're miserable. What's happening? I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this. Obviously, for someone listening, I had too many things I had to do. So she just said, hey, where are the kids at? Hour drive? No big deal. I'll go get them. And it's like, we don't do that for each other. And I think a big part of it is because we are all fucking exhausted with too many I have to do's. And we've created this crazy, and a lot of that's the whole, like, I'm going to be this strong, powerful individual person. But a lot of the things that we're trying to give people in these experiences, whether it's the weekly calls, the retreats, even in the course, is fucking permission. Because that's what we hear. People's like, I don't have permission from anybody in my life that I can stop. And as much as I'd love to say, like, you're your own person, you deserve it, you're worthy of that, independent of other people giving it to you, the fact remains we're social beings, especially if we're in caretaker roles. I can say I do give myself permission for these things, but it's a very different thing when Leah gives me permission and my husband gives me permission and Melissa gives me permission and says, you want to go out for coffee? And I show up and I'm like, yeah, I'm broke. And she says, let me treat you. Right? Like, that's so different.
Well, and also there's another
I
layer.
get fired up about it.
Well, layer to this too, because the other path, like you don't know what was going on in my realm. So I'm listening to this poor human who's overwhelmed, not like, oh, I'm really stressed. Like, no. And so the question I actually asked you was like, what do you have to do today?
Oh, yeah.
And so she gave me a list of all the things. And I even remember you saying, like, I've got to pick up my kids from Woodburn, and then I've got to take them to football practice, and then this. And I'm just like, okay, I do not have capacity to go to a football practice. I cannot do that, but I definitely have capacity to drive to Woodburn, and I even asked you, I'm like, so do you need to drive, pick them up from Woodburn and then immediately go to practice, or do they need to go home first? And she's like, no, they have to come home first. I'm like, sold.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I can do for you.
Yes.
I can drive, I can pick up your kids, I can drop them off at home. But the other side of the coin is some people go to the other extreme. They immediately try and play the hero when they don't have capacity either, or they overcommit themselves.
Yes.
So this is the other side of the coin. They might hear their beloved,
I love that you're
their
bringing
work
this
wife,
up. Their
and
work
just be like,
wife.
okay, I'm going to take all of it. I'll fix all of it. I'll make it all better. And it's like, no, I couldn't have done all of it. I looked in my schedule. I checked in with how much energy I had. And it's like, I know I can do this one thing. I can drive 30 minutes. I can pick up kids. I can drive 30 minutes back, and I can drop the kids off. No problem. And then, like, I can take one thing off your plate. And so that's the power of community. That is, it's like, it's the best analogy or metaphor I can give is two people that are holding each other, but they're in their own center of gravity. And no one teaches anyone about this. They either teach people to take without mercy, or they teach people to give without caution. Like
Yeah.
there's no balance. And like I remember going to, it was some kind of a presentation, and it was on outward mindset.
You were at, right?
Yes.
That one.
Yes, yes.
This is a great story. I know we're close to time. You got to listen to this. I'm upset because it's so fucking true. Go.
It's okay. So I go
is
into
good.
this. I'm a community health educator, and we're told by this person who's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing
Context,
training.
local. It's
Yeah, it's
context.
local. It's this amazing
Healthcare
training.
facility.
Yes,
Okay.
healthcare facility. It's a hospital. I'm working within a very like kind of boxy, capitalistic healthcare system. But here we're being told that we need to go to this training because it's going to change your life. It's going to blow your mind. And it's called outward mindset. I am immediately gagging. I'm dry heaving. I'm like, it's literally called outward mindset. Yes. I'm like, well, that's your first problem. Okay, like y'all are real excited about it. So fine. I'm going to go in to hear about your outward mindset. And these guys, because they're young men, and they're vibrant, and they are just so stinking, like, they're adorable. They're so
adorable.
excited. They're like, oh my God, guys.
They're very
Oh my
proud.
God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Wait until you hear this. So this one time, I had this experience where, usually I'm all about me, but I decided this one time I was going to make it about this other person. And so I decided to direct all of my attention to them and ask myself, how can I be of service to you? And it felt really good. So we should just all be doing this now. And I'm just like, you sweet little sunflower. Like that is good medicine for someone. There's on a spectrum, people often flock to one extreme or to one pole or another when they are imbalanced. When they get scared, people either go to the extreme of like, dude, you need to check your ego. Like you're turning into a jerk or you turn into a doormat. And often we gravitate toward the wrong medicine. Jerks want to hear about Jocko Willink's medicine, who's like, discipline is freedom. And doormats want to hear about how you should just always be of service and have an outward mindset. But they both need the opposite medicine. So here's this man saying, y'all should totally hear about this. Serving others feels good. And I'm like, oh my God. And so we're having a roundtable discussion after his schmeal. And there's this gentleman who he seems like he's a solid dude, and he's probably in a high position in the CEO realm. And he says, well, what did you think? And I said, I think this information could potentially be very dangerous. And he said, really, why? And I said, well, it depends on who your audience is. You're speaking to a community health educator who works in a clinical space in a hospital. Most of those people don't need more outward mindset medicine. That's not what they need to hear. They're already way imbalanced and always giving. They need to hear someone tell them, P.S. Don't forget, you deserve a moment to breathe. You deserve a moment to fill your cup. Please don't keep pouring from an empty
Let's talk
cup.
about how we can help you create boundaries.
Let's talk about your inward mindset. Do you know do you know how much, can you practice interoception? Do you know your limitations? Do you know how much you actually can give to others? Do you know where you need to take some PTO? Do you have a good relationship with you? The people that you're gearing up to send this out to don't need to hear this. They're already doing this to an extreme. Like they're in codependent land.
Females, healthcare providers, nurses. And already most of those people have a servant's heart. They go in there because they are people who want to serve, often having struggles with codependency, often with history of trauma, then going through 4 years usually of education that is nothing but patient satisfaction, patient outcomes, patient safety, patient. The individual disappears completely, the healer. And now I'm just this cog in a wheel that's supposed to be self-sacrificing for the needs of everybody else around me. I already struggle with that. And now you've ingrained it to me in 4 years of education. Yeah. And so that was when she told me that story, I was like, what the actual fuck? They thought that would be a good education to have in a hospital with people who already do that.
You needed to set up next door and have an inward mindset course so that when they come out of there, they can go into there. Yeah.
We have one. It's called Unbound. We do. That's what we need, Scott. Right. So this is like what I will say in terms of one of the important facets of community and why it's so powerful. Like the reason I can be there's a flow. I can give to Dani all day long because I feel safe with Dani. She's in her own center of gravity, so I never am worried about, and it has an impact on me. This is the other thing that a lot of people, like the last maybe parting words I would say is, a lot of times people think, well, what if I do this work and the people around me are going to think I'm a jerk? Well, an asshole. Like they're going to think I'm a horrible human. I'm going to go from being a beacon in my community to suddenly everyone cocking an eyebrow going, ugh. And the reality is any person who's done their own work makes anyone around them feel safe, because I don't have to worry about whether or not what it is you're saying is true or just coming from performance. And because of that, it makes it so much easier for me to hear my own voice because I'm being modeled it by another person. So here's a human who's saying, here's my truth. That gives me an invite to speak my truth. This is a person who gives with true generosity. So all I want to do is give back. And so it's a really beautiful dance where both people have the appropriate amount of dance space. Yeah. And we just aren't modeled that in our community. We have to start building it from scratch. And you start with a relationship to yourself that says like, I love you. I'm going to be here for you. Right. And then that ripples out to the other people in your life where they can do that for you too.
It's another podcast topic on boundaries too.
My gosh.
I didn't want to open that can of worms today. It had to be said.
If you want to, it's no big deal. It's fine.
Don't tease us with a good time, Scott.
And that's all the time we have for today. So tell us how people can get in touch with you.
Easiest way, website, phoenixrising.family. You see the menu bar at the top, click Burnout Clinic, and Phoenix, it's spelled, I always have to say it the way it's spelled because it's spelled weird. Phoenix, Phoenix, rising, RISING.family.
All right. Excellent.
Perfect.
Any parting thoughts before we close?
No, I just appreciate the conversation and the power that we're bringing forth to create community and hold space for all of us to heal.
Thanks for the invite, you guys. It's very cool to be able to share this. This is soul work. Like we're so passionate about it. So to be able to share it with other people is very meaningful. So thank you for the opportunity.
I only have one suggestion, and that is that maybe you two could bring a little more energy to the podcast this time. I felt like it was a little lacking in energy. So a little quiet,
Reserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is why we do the podcast, is we want to get the word out to have people understand there are pathways to finding your happiness, to finding your joy, to finding your balance, and to alleviate yourself of some of the worries and concerns brought on by societal, generational, workplace, on and on and on models. And I'm so glad to have Dani and Leah on our show today as another beacon of light that's helping people on this journey. And we appreciate you all coming today and listening or watching. And of course, we're here for you. So don't hesitate to reach out. Don't forget to rate our podcast and check out our retreat to Sedona coming in June of 2026. And as always, take care of each other and don't forget to take care of yourself. We'll see you next time on Rise and Thrive.
Thanks for tuning in to Rise and Thrive, a podcast by Vital Edge Wellness Coaching. If you found this episode meaningful, please rate, review, and share it with someone who might need it. For upcoming retreats and to join the Vital Edge Wellness community, head to vitaledgewellnesscoaching.com. Let's rise and thrive together.